Yes, we got a bit of echo. Hey everyone, my name is Nima, like May said, and we are from Mindful Wing Chun, which is a Kung Fu school. And today they're going to be demonstrating the first form of Wing Chun called Siu Nim Tau, while I'll be explaining a little bit about what Wing Chun is and how it relates to yoga, meditation, and this wonderful event. But first of all, I'd like to thank Iris, May, and all the people and groups that were involved into putting this thing together. It's so wonderful to be a part of it and to see all these people coming together for the reasons of self-development. So thank you very much. So for people that don't know what Wing Chun is an ancient form of Chinese Kung Fu. And it was actually allegedly developed by a woman who was a nun in the Shaolin Temple around 300 years ago. But it's actually quite a well-known form of Kung Fu, thanks to Bruce Lee, thanks to the man himself. It was actually Bruce Lee's fundamental martial art. And he learned in the 50s in Hong Kong under our Grandmaster, who you probably know his name from the movies. His name is Ip Man. Our teacher, whose name is Chu Shong Tin, he was one of Ip Man's first students in Hong Kong. And they were actually living together for 5 years when Ip Man first moved to Hong Kong. And basically he went on to teach and practice for 60 years, completely dedicated his life to Wing Chun. And I feel blessed to have been able to directly train under him intensively, full-time for 9 years before he passed away in 2014. So Wing Chun, like I said, is quite famous these days. That's why there's hundreds of thousands of people practicing it around the world. But from what I see, majority of the people that practice it, they're more focused on the external aspect of Wing Chun. What I mean by that is they're more focused on the correct external positioning, on the sparring side, on the end result. For example, when they're hitting a bag, how hard, how fast can I hit? And that's all fine. That's all of that is part of a martial art. However, I believe if there's an internal aspect missing from a martial art, I think that just the external parts by itself can lead to things like, poor posture, muscular tension, or even, developing quite an aggressive mindset. And it's not just with martial arts. I think in any physical activity, if there is a lack of mindfulness, then I think it can lead to imbalances in the body. Okay, because I think that internal mindfulness must go hand in hand with any dynamic physical activity to get the best result of that activity. And that's why I love the internal style of Wing Chun, because it's an art that basically unifies the mind and body together. And I think if practiced in that internal way, it can take the practitioner far beyond the external movements can, and it can eventually lead to a very balanced body and mind. They're looking very relaxed. Very hot, but very relaxed, eh? So Wing Chun, just like yoga, is a system that helps us open up the blockages in the body. So in Hatha Yoga, we open up the blockages through doing these beautiful postures by stretching out any muscular tension and by strengthening any weaknesses in the body. So in Wing Chun, we get the exactly same result in terms of being able to open up the blockages in the body, but we get it through a different way. We get it through the power of the mind. We get it through what we call in this lineage, Nim Lik, or it actually translates directly to mind force. So what is this Nim Lik? From what our teacher said, it's actually us being able to activate a different part of the brain. So activate the back part of the brain. Usually we're using the front part, the front lobe thinking, the analytical part of the brain. But through Wing Chun, we can start to cultivate and activate the back part of the brain. So he said this many years ago. That was his feeling. And it's great to see that neurologists, there's scientific findings now, that discoveries that actually find out that if you can shut off the front part and activate the back part, there's a lot of physiological and mental benefits. So how do we get this mind power? By doing what they're doing here. It's the first form of Wing Chun. Wing Chun has 6 forms. This is the first form. It's called Siu Nim Tau. Siu Nim Tau translates in English to little thought. And as I said, its fundamental goal is to activate this mind power by bringing stillness, calmness, and one-pointed focus to the mind, which I believe is actually the goal of every type of meditation. So we can say that actually Siu Nim Tau is actually a standing meditation. That's exactly what it is. So right now you can see they're just moving their arms. So the body in Siu Nim Tau stays still. But even though it's externally still, internally there's a lot of activity. There's a lot going on inside the body. Let me explain. So first thing they're doing is they're internally connecting their upper body with their lower body through what we call Tai Gong, which is a very gentle lift up from the pelvic floor. In yoga, we have the exact same practice called Mula Bandha. It's the exact same thing, just a different name. Another thing that's happening is they're trying to cultivate energy flow, or what we call qi, from the tailbone, from the base of the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head, all the way up to the top of the spine. Again, in yoga, we have the same thing, right? We call that the Kundalini energy, which, again, comes up through the chakras, the energy centers, and opens them up. So you see, there's a lot of fundamental similarities between a martial art, Wing Chun, and between yoga. So talking about energy flow, of course, we can't have energy flow through our body if there's tension, right? This is why in yoga, we try to release the tension as well. So what we relax the whole body with what we call mindful relaxation. So this is a little bit different to people's normal idea of relaxation, which is, you ask someone, can you relax? They're like, yeah, I relax every day. I go home after work, I sit on the couch and I relax on the couch, watch TV. So that's a different kind of relaxation. That kind of relaxation, we can call that mindless or sloppy relaxation. If you're sitting on a couch watching a movie for 2 hours, when you get up, you feel like stretching, you feel like you've blocked up, because that's what you've done. You've given in to gravity because your mind is elsewhere. So mindful relaxation is a different thing. Mindful relaxation is releasing the muscles, but at the same time, decompressing the joints. So the joints are all very active. Every joint in the body, even though they look still, must be very active. Okay? So relaxation is really a big foundation of what we do. So in the beginning, in the first form, physically, as I said, we're just moving the arms. Why? Because in the beginning, when we haven't made the mind still, when we haven't calmed the mind, the more dynamic activity there is, and the faster you move, obviously, the harder for the mind to calm down, right? But later on, once we cultivate it through this simple movements, through being still physically and moving very slowly, then, as I said, there's 6 forms. So within the other forms, we start to apply what we cultivate here in every kind of movement, whether it be movement of the legs, whether it be stepping, turning the body, bending. So whatever movement, whatever joint you can think about, we do start to move them in the other forms, but they all have to have the same engine that's developed in Siu Nim Tau, which is that mind power. Okay, so we can say that this form is the foundation of all the other forms and of the entire Wing Chun system. But I reckon one very mind-blowing or remarkable thing about Wing Chun is this. The fact that once you can get this, because right now it's all just talk, right? You guys are like, yep, that's all good, but how can you prove it? So once you start to be able to do that at a higher level, we start to be able to practice how we can utilize this open, decompressed joints, that state, how we can maintain that to give out and receive force when we come in contact with another person or an inanimate object, whether it's, opening the heavy IFC doors, whatever. So how can you maintain that openness? Not just, right now, there's only one opposing force, right? Gravity. In yoga, when we do poses, same thing. The only opposing force is gravity, right? Now, what if I introduce another opposing force? What if I go up to someone as they're moving their arm forward and I try to stop them? I push directly into them. Will that person be able to still move as if you're not there? Be able to maintain that activeness in the joints and that openness in the joints and still be able to move? With correct internal Wing Chun training, yes, you can. So even if, for example, someone's moving their arm down, if you try to hold to try to stop them, without using muscular force, their joint's still able to be utilized. And that equals to power. Right, so that's why I say it's quite mind-blowing for people that start to experience it at the end of it for the first time, because regardless of the muscular strength, regardless of the gender of the person, their movements are seemingly very powerful yet very effortless. Again, because we're not using muscular power or minimizing muscular power and maximizing the power of the mind. And actually, we're going to be in the meditation tent at 3 o'clock. So we're going to be going through this form there for whoever's interested, and I encourage you guys to ask. So try to feel what I was just talking about. See if you can actually feel the difference between the movements when you experience it. Is there a difference between muscular force, what we usually are used to doing, and using the mind to move? That's good. They're getting a free suntan as well. Maybe make this the last one. Talking about powerful movements. Our teacher, I first met him years ago. I've been doing this full time for 18 years. I met him in Sydney, and it was completely mind blowing. Old Chinese man at the time. He was in his 70s. He died when he was 82, and honestly, we can hold him. Two people can hold him as hard as you can, and he would effortlessly be able to move whatever part of your body. You push on his leg, he'll effortlessly move it up. You push on his arm, you push on his chest, he'll effortlessly walk forward. So it's quite remarkable what the power of the mind can do. Of course, we're not at that level yet. He was doing it for 60 plus years, but still, what I'll be able to demonstrate is maybe you'll feel there's a difference between the normal way and using the mind way. And just to finish up, while they're finishing up, I'll just say that Wing Chun is not an art. It's not just for people that are after a realistic, scientific self-defense system, because that's what it is. It is a very good self-defense system. It's not just for self-defense. Wing Chun is actually for everyone, because it's a system, it's an art that enables us to move in the most efficient way possible. So like I said, we can start to move when force is applied to us, not only against gravity, but when force is... So it means you can use it to hold your baby, to walk around, climb stairs, whatever it may be. You're able to use your body in a more efficient way. You're able to open up the posture. So if there's any imbalances in the posture, you'll be able to release them. You'll be able to get rid of aches and pains. So if you have muscular pain, we have back pain. Why should we have to get someone to massage it out or go to a chiro? Why? It's our body, it's our mind. Why can't we go in there with our mind and relax our own muscles, right? So Wing Chun gives us that ability. And therefore, Wing Chun, I believe, it's even though it's a martial art, I believe Wing Chun, just like yoga, is a path to, or a practice to inner peace. Thank you very much, guys.